Okay, so let's start with whoever would like first. You don't have to answer all the questions, but I would like to know, tell me your name, tell me a bit of why you signed up for this course and what you're looking to get out of it. I'm taking notes. If you see me looking down, I promise I'm not texting. So who would like to go first?
Okay, I'll go. So my name's Zach Rowe. I'm an attorney specializing in corporate M&A and BEE, broad-based back economic empowerment. And I'm based in South Africa. And so what made me take the class is about 5 years back, I started a business for working with startups, entrepreneurs. They tend to be very underserviced by the legal fraternity and other specialists. So I decided let's work that. It was sort of on the side. It was a side project for a long time. And I've worked with lots of startups. I've now formalized that business into a private company. And I work with big corporates such as our leading banks, MasterCard, even British American Tobacco, and then lots of smaller startups. But it's sort of been more word of mouth for a long time, and I haven't really spent a lot of, because the work's been flowing in, I haven't really spent a lot of time focused on really understanding entrepreneurship. And that's really what I'm hoping to gain from this course, and how, because lawyers aren't business people, we just want to make money, but we don't really understand managing and growing and forging relationships and nurturing other people. So yes, I'd like to understand all of those things and the financial aspects of it, obviously.
Okay, and I want to make sure I had this right. Zach, you said?
Zach, Z-A-K, as surname Rowe, R-O-W-E.
Oh, so Zach Rowe. Got it.
Yes.
Zach. Okay, so I just call you Zach. Is that? I don't want to shorten your first name.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. Okay. Okay, this is helpful and understand. I mean, you make a very good point. You're absolutely right that the brain to forging relationships and being gregarious and all of those things in entrepreneurship, just in general, is not necessarily something that comes with the legal side.
No, it's not, especially around the marketing aspects as well. I think I didn't mention that. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Oh, we're gonna go there. They say the difference between an entrepreneur and a hobbyist is that the entrepreneur is actually making money. you know, people have a hobby. You know how that goes, and they love what they're doing, but ultimately the goal is to profitize it, monetize what it is that you have. So, okay. All right. Someone else share, please.
I guess I'll follow on from Zach. I'm Kendall Keenley. I'm a director in a big law firm in Cape Town, South Africa. And the reason I joined this course is because I was recently made a director probably about a year ago, and I'm now in my sort of own team. So there's a lot of sort of requirements on me to sort of build a practice and get out there and sort of get work. So like similar to Zach, I want to sort of build that side of my brain from an entrepreneurship perspective, how to sort of gain clients, market myself, build my personal brand, that sort of a thing. So that's why I joined this course.
Okay. And I sent out, and I just want Kendall, right? I just want to make sure that everybody understands this, that one of the reasons why I want us in the beginning to do this discovery, because that's what we're doing here, to understand each other better, and I get a sense of what your needs are and goals are, because I want to make sure that what we're bringing is tailored to you. There was a direction, an original direction that we want to go in, but I wanted to make sure that because I hadn't met you yet, that this is responsive to what it is that you're looking to receive. So I'll say it in more practical terms. Here in America, I grew up in the church, and they would always print out a bulletin in the beginning, right? but then at the bottom it would have a asterisk that would say subject to change according to the unction of the Holy Spirit, which really meant you didn't even need to print the program because this might turn totally different. But the point is, I want to make sure we strive that whenever we do any type of webinar service, that is hitting where people are. So yeah, we're gonna spend some time talking about marketing and selling and how to sell, how to market. So okay, this is good. Okay, who's next?
I would go. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, here it's CD Diallo. So I'm tuning in from Ottawa, Canada. So some background about me. I'm originally from Guinea, West Africa, capital Conakry. I precise this because we have 3 Guineas in Africa. So mine is the Francophone one. So my first language is French. So I studied law in France and here in Canada. I am a graduate from Ottawa Law School. I did civil law and common law. And now I teach business law at a college here in Ottawa, which is called La Cité, like the city in English. So I'm taking this training in order to become a successful legal entrepreneur, and also I would like to discover different ways to monetize my legal skills in the digital world. For instance, how can one find new ways, innovative ways in order to become, let's say, a successful legal entrepreneur? So I think I'm not sure yet what to expect, but I'm here also to discover. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And you said, let me get this right, a legal entrepreneur. What do you mean by that?
To have a business in the legal field. It can be a legal boutique, like a small law firm, or something related to like an NGO with a legal how do you say, legal activity.
Okay.
It could be a think tank, a legal think tank, which can provides like legal advice to, let's say, civil society organizations, or could be a kind of a refugee hubs for asylum seekers. So yeah, in that sense, kind of social entrepreneur, but with legal background.
Okay, got it.
Good afternoon, Darrell. My name is Paco. I hope everybody can hear me.
We can. Say your name again, please.
Paco, P-A-K-O.
Paco. Okay.
Yeah, I am an attorney in-house, practicing in-house in Botswana, in Africa. I work for the Botswana Football Association. So I've been in-house counsel for the past 7 months, but previously I was in private practice. For the past 5.5 years, I was in private practice in litigation as a litigation attorney. So I wasn't doing too well with meeting my financial targets towards the bottom line. So that is a weakness that I am trying to improve or develop a skill of how to make money, how to retain clients, how to grow a clientele base, because my aspiration is to go back into private practice, set up my own law firm, and provide affordable legal services, but at the same time making enough money. So I'm really hoping to learn how I can develop the other aspect of being an attorney.
Got it. So the business
Yes.
side. Got it. Okay. Thank you for that, Paco. All right. Who's next?
Morning, morning, Darrell.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Darrell. It's afternoon. It's almost 4:30 in South Africa. I'm in South Africa. I'm in Joburg, in South Africa. I'm based in Joburg, Gauteng. I work for the office of the Premier, Premier David Makura. I've worked in the government for all my life. In parliament, municipal, local government, provincial government. Now I also work at national government. I'm tired and I want to venture into private practice. And that's the reason I took this course. While I'm venturing into private practice, I also want to engage myself in what they called social entrepreneurship, where I can assist my community where I come from. I come from the Western Cape, in a small town of Worcester, which is 120 kilometers from Cape Town. If you drive from Gauteng, from Johannesburg to Cape Town, you will have to pass my town.
Okay.
An hour before you reach Cape Town. I'm happy that my friend from Botswana is involved with Football Association. One of my objectives is to start a football club where I can assist youngsters with their talent and to train them so that I can take them away from drugs. There's a problem of drugs in my area, so that I can take them from all of that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't get your name though, I don't think.
My name is Monwabisi. Monwabisi. It's Monwabisi. If you visit Cape Town and Monwabisi, yes. If you visit Western Cape Town in Khayelitsha, there's a beach there. There's a beach here, and that beach is called Monwabisi Beach.
Oh wow. Okay. They named the beach
No,
after you?
No, it's not named after me.
Oh,
It's not named after me. It's just that it's the name of the beach. The literal translation of the name is one who brings a happiness.
wow. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Monvisi. I still have not been able to visit South Africa yet. My mom's been there a couple times. She's a nurse, so she goes on medical mission trips across the world. So hopefully I'll be able to come visit soon. But this is amazing to be able to do this. I'm originally from Maryland, in the US, a place called Baltimore. I have traveled different places. I was blessed to go to Morehouse College as an undergrad. I don't know how many heard of Morehouse, but it is the school that Dr. King went to. It is a historically Black college. So, very proud of that. especially with everything that's going on. I won't get into that here. Of course, it's not the time or place, but we are very proud of our heritage over here. And then after that, I graduated from Harvard Law School in 2010. So it's been 10 years now. And one of the things that I like to help people do is, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. I've had an interesting personal journey. I've written, some books about that. But one of the things that really gives me pleasure is inspiration and empowerment. So it's one thing to just inspire people, make them feel good, motivate them, and that's a space. But then it's like, okay, so now what do I do? I don't want to just tell people, hey, you can be anything you want. You can start a business and unlock your gifts, but then like, how do you actually make that happen? So I've been, in the entrepreneurial space. I didn't recognize that I had been exposed to it early, but I had. When I was 13, my grandfather had me work in his he was a, what we call in America, a solopreneur. So he's an entrepreneur, but he was the only person in his office. And he did have a secretary, but he was the only person that did the taxes. And even at 13, I was learning from him, like how to run a business. And I have come to learn, and I know a few of you have already kind of shared this notion that, it's two different spaces when we talk about entrepreneurship. And that's what we're going to get into. First is the actual product itself or service and creating that and developing that. And then it's the delivery and marketing of said service. And that's where it gets tricky. You have people that have a great service, but if they don't have a delivery mechanism or marketing mechanism, then it's a problem. Or they might be great marketers and then they really don't have a product or service that's worthy. So throughout these 7 weeks, we're going to be talking about both ends of it. We're going to start with creating the foundation for what it is that product or service looks like. That's where we're going to start. And we're going to start with that by doing an assessment of gifts. Where are your gifts? What makes you different? What can you do if you never had a degree and everything in the world shut down, which isn't fathomed now, considering this year we've had? What do you do? What's your next move? And I help people kind of plan that out and strategize that. My first book I wrote when I was 18, and I did not recognize when I wrote the book that was really my step into becoming an entrepreneur. Because I wrote the book, I really wrote it because all the internships I had applied for, nobody accepted me. So I was like, okay, I can just sit at home all day and have a pity party, or I can write a book. I did have the pity party too, because like somebody could have accepted me. Y'all all denied me. But after the pity party ended, then it's like, now what? So I wrote the book, and I was under the assumption that I think a lot of people are when they are entrepreneurs. You have this great product, you're passionate about it. So I wrote the book, and to my surprise, it didn't go on the New York Times bestsellers list that next week. So I say that, to be facetious, but also really and truly, when I work with folks who are starting businesses, the first thing, and this is what I want to get into today, the first thing that people start with is generally a P word. What's the P word that I'm about to say? They say, if you're going to start a business, follow your
passion.
There you go. And it sounds so good. It really, and I was one of those people too. If you're passionate about it, start a business, the money will come. Look, I don't know if that's true as I've gotten a little bit older, and I'll tell you why. Passion is important. However, you might be passionate about something you're not gifted in. I know folks very passionate about NBA and sports and basketball. Can't shoot a shot if you gave them 30 tries and they were standing right under the hoop, but they're passionate about it. And so the question becomes, if I'm passionate, so I want to take you to, does everybody have that one-sheeter, or excuse me, that strengths assessment that that Lisa sent out, where it has the 3 circles? Can someone pull that, please? And I want to, while you pull that up, I'm going to try to pull it up on my end as well, because I want you to see where I'm going with this. For next week, I want you to have filled this out. This is going to be the foundation that we're going to work. So I can start with the end from the beginning. The key is for us to get to that intersection where it's passion, skills, and strengths. So it's not that passion is not important, but it has to overlap at the place where I have strengths and where I have skills. That's ideally where you want to build your business. That's ideally where you know that you can make a profit. But if I had a circle to start in, I want to start in the strength circle. That's where I want to start. If I had somewhere to start. So start, what are strengths? And I think we can bring this down now. So we can just, everybody's seen this. Just kind of be looking on this on your own computer. Thank you for that, Zach. So let's start with that. What are strengths? And when we're talking about strengths here, we're using that interchangeably for talents and gifts. What is that? I know kind of a little bit CD, but let's someone else kind of take us further. What is a strength? How do I determine my strengths? I want you to write down 3 questions. First question, what comes easily to you but with difficulty to others? Slash, for as long as you can remember, you've just been really good at this. Number 2, now the answer to these questions in themselves may not be the gift, but we're going somewhere with this. The second question is, for as long as you can remember, what have you been complimented on? Because sometimes it's hard for us to see what everybody else clearly sees in us. So for as long as you can remember, what is something you've been complimented on? And lastly, what's like your third hand? What's your third hand? So it's something that is clearly, easily, it's just like some people, when it comes to music, they're just in their natural element. That's what I'm kind of getting at. What's your third hand meaning? What are you just naturally inclined to do? Somewhere at the intersection of those questions, you're going to start to get a sense of, okay, where is gifting? So looking at those questions, what are some thoughts that come to you? Maybe not on the individual question themselves, but overall when it comes to gifts. What are some things that you can identify that you know you could fill in under gifts / strengths / talents? I'm gonna have to call on folks I can see. Monwan BC. Monwan BC. Can you tell us, what do you feel like your gifting is based on what we just read and discussed?
Public speaking.
Okay.
Public speaking. Yes, since I can remember, is that I can, I can volunteer. I always volunteer to speak. I'm not shy to speak. I'm always motivated to speak, especially others are more reluctant.
Got it. Okay. I can relate to that, certainly. What type of public speaking in specific would you say?
I beg yours?
What type of public speaking?
As far as I remember at school, for instance, in the class, I will go and speak. As far as I remember in the primary school, going up to secondary and tertiary, it might be either the subject matter of the day, the subject matter, or the teacher asking one of us to say so that he can coach if we catch it. So I will be the first to go and explain it to others. That's the thing, yeah.
And what would you say, how over your life have you made money through that gift?
I won't say, I won't say I've made money on that gift. That is why, for instance, I qualified as a lawyer because I wanted to make money on that gift. Because advocacy is about communication, isn't advocacy that my profession? It's about communication. And if I can't communicate, then I won't succeed. So that is the reason that I have taken my profession so that I can speak. But I haven't been able, since I've said that I've been working for government, so I've not been able to go to the court and speak, on behalf of someone. I've limited that to when I represent colleagues in disciplinary hearings and all of that. And that is done voluntarily and without payment.
Okay, so what you're telling me is not that odd. It's not that odd at all. So I want people to hear what's taking place. Notice the journey that we're about to go on. So let me pause that comment for a second. The journey that we're going on is, what are your strengths? What are you naturally, innately gifted in? I mean, that's something you can't buy, you can't teach, you can't learn it. You just either have it or you don't. That's step one. Step two is, what skills have been built intentionally around that gift? So if I already know, that's why I start with gift, not skills, gift, not passions. If I already know that this is my foundation, the gift, now I want to think, what are the skills, resources, and things that I have learned or acquired to help me sharpen and develop my gift? Because the gift is there, but there are skills that I can learn and acquire to do better with it. So what I hear from Monwan BC, and this is no, in America we say no shade here. This is no shade, meaning I'm not trying to say anything negative, but hear the trajectory. You recognize at an early age that you had this gift. So you did that. So you know your family, but then you deal with a lot of people end up doing. They build skills around it and maybe even get into a profession that relates to it. But then in the profession, somehow, some way, you're not primarily using that gift anymore. You see what I'm saying here? And y'all can just nod if you get where I'm going. All right? That's what we've got to change. That's not odd. I want you to know that what you just shared, and thank you for sharing that, Mo1 BC. That's not odd, but that happens to a lot of people. Most people are not working squarely within their gift. They're not. They're more working within their skill. A lot of people are working in passion, but because I don't think we spend enough time foundationally about gifts. Because once we go there, the question should be, I always have to somehow be doing something. When I say always, I'm talking professionally now, profitability. Your profit is going to come from the thing that you're innately gifted with. That's what we're doing day one. That's what I want to really establish with you. Before we get into marketing, before we get into sales, before we get into this is the business that I want, before we get into, you talked about a legal clinic. I think CD, that was you that said that, right? The legal clinic and all these different things that the legal clinic can turn into. No, let's start with first gift. So throughout these 7 weeks, we'll be returning back to this because I think this is so important. It's so important. When I was younger, I recognized I had a gift for words. And so I also recognized that though there are other things that I can do well, and we all have more than one gift. So, some we just never know. But I recognize that if I'm in a job or in a career or in a role, in any of that, in order for me to shine, I have to be using that gift. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean I have to be fronting, because when we talk about public speaking, and we're going to get into this a little bit, actually the next webinar I'm doing after this 7 weeks is just on public speaking. But public speaking is bigger than just speeches. I mean, it's negotiating, it's teaching, it's training, it's coaching. It can manifest in a lot of different ways. But what it's not is painting. What it's not is truck driving. What it's not is, you know what I mean? I have to stay within my core range of gift abilities, because if I don't, that's when I start getting scatterbrained. So gift. Would someone else like to share foundationally, what is the gifting that you can identify and say, this is my gifting?
So I might go in this, and for me, it's puzzles or problem solving. And I think it was so definitely something within my current career. But I just found that one of the things is I always see all the different aspects. And the one thing which I don't know how much is natural and how much was taught, but was to just start at foundation level with everything that I do. And I found that that's been it's received quite a positive response when I go into these meetings where they give you these complicated or complex business problems. And you sit there and you just ask like a very basic question of, but what are you actually trying to do? Or if you just move this moving part or keep that still for a little bit, what would the outcome be? And people are just, it's such a simple answer. And they're like, oh, shit, we didn't think of that. So I definitely think for me, it's the puzzle and seeing it from all aspects. And I am a bit of a puzzle person. Like I do all my Sudokus and Kokorus and all of those things. It's definitely a strength and a passion at the same time, I think.
Problem solving. Okay. And how has that manifested throughout your life as far as making money?
Well, I'm a lawyer and I specialize in corporate structures, which is exactly that. It's looking for the greatest structure, getting from point A to point B for an organizational structure, incurring the least amount of tax, compliant with all of the regulations, Black economic empowerment, not falling short of licensing and all of those things. So it's my job to bring them all together. And I think it is where I make my money. It's just coming into the room. But then what you've built around there on skill is the drafting of the agreements to actually speak to that and then getting that detail. And I think that wasn't a skill at all. It was learned, and definitely not public speaking. It definitely wasn't a strength of mine at all. Hated speaking to more than 2 people at a time. It was something that had to be learned because you can't go into a boardroom and start mumbling and umming and ahhing. So yeah, so that was built around it.
Got it. And you know what, Zach? So I appreciate you saying that, because I think that knowing what you're gifted at is just as equally as important to know what you're not gifted at. That gives you something, you know. So for me, I learned what I was good at from sort of ticking down. You know, some people are artsy, some people are great with music, some people are gifted with numbers, and you get a sense, where am I best at? Where do I fit best? So when you know that, because this is also what we're getting to, and I don't want to get too ahead in this first course, seminar session, building the business takes collaboration. Part of healthy collaboration is finding people that are gifted where you're not. That's why we're starting here. So what happens is we end up building businesses with people who we like rather than people who compliment us.
Yes.
You know, people are gonna tell us stuff you know how we do. You know, oh, that's my friend, so we're starting something. But wait a minute, why don't we start something? Because this person is gifted in a way that I'm not. But if I don't know where I'm uniquely gifted and where I'm limited, so that's the other thing, right? I believe that people who are superstar entrepreneurs and business people aren't just aware of where they're strong, they're aware of where they're weak. That's something that we don't talk about often, because we, you know, particularly people that are intelligent, like all of us on this call are, you know, obviously to go through law school and do all that, you have to have some sense of intellect. But the blind spot to that is, if we're not careful, we tend to feel like, well, we can do all these things, not realizing you might do everything well, but you're only going to do very, very few things great. So in order to build something powerful, instead of me trying to do the financial structure and try to do the marketing and try to do the arts piece and try to do the and let me focus on what I can and bring other people on that are just as gifted in that way. If everything, let me ask you this way. If there's one thing that you know that you can make money doing, what is that thing?
Sure, that is a very good question. If there was one thing, honey, I guess for me, it would be, I guess, project management. I think a little bit of that. Like, I'm very good at keeping the wheels turning for a matter, and especially here in sort of your virtual environment. You don't interact with people, you don't have meetings, so it's much more difficult to actually keep people on track. What are they supposed to do? Things are supposed to get done in a specific sort of thing. And I think that has definitely been a skill that has helped during lockdown, to sort of keep communicating and interacting with people and checking in and seeing if things get done.
Okay. Thank you for that. This is good. I mean, I see you started talking about skills, which is where people go to quickly. They kind of move off skills. I don't even want to get to skills yet. I want to talk about just the gifting itself. So maybe tell us a little bit more about how to manifest as far as project, and particularly what you know you can get paid to do. So project management, I guess I want to get a little bit more specific. So that's kind of broad. That can be a lot of things.
So I guess my gift would be organization.
Okay.
I'm a very organized person, sort of type A personality sort of thing. So that would be my gift.
Got it. Okay. Paco, your let me ask this first. What is your gifting that you have written down?
I've written down two actually. Speaking and leadership.
Okay. What does leadership look like?
The ability to inspire, the ability to put together a team to achieve a goal. This is something I've been able to do since I was young. I've always been put in leadership positions, and I've just got the ability to inspire people to achieve the objective that they want to achieve. I'm currently a football coach. I've got a team where I'm a football coach, so that's where the skill comes out, the gift comes out a lot. Actually, I don't have any particular training in coaching, you know. So to me, leadership just means the ability to inspire people to achieve what it is that they have put themselves out to achieve.
Okay. Who in the world now has the same gifting that you have that has massive success that you admire?
John Maxwell.
Okay. And have you read his books, some of his books?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Can other folks point to someone who has the type of gifting that you have and had massive success that you admire? Can each person point to someone who has that?
Bill Gates, Obama, Bill Clinton, all public good speakers, and they're earning a lot of money on public speaking, and many others.
Oh, okay. You threw me off with Bill Gates, though. I'm not even gonna. I was like, where did he come from? But okay. Okay. So public speak. Okay, got it. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do for next week is to fill out that full. Well, one, I want you to fill out that full assessment and get that back to I guess you will send it to Lisa, and Lisa will send it over. Thanks for that, Lisa. So that assessment, because that's going to help craft where we're going for the next 6 sessions. But also, I want you to fill out that strengths resource that I sent over. And I want you to really think deeply about what goes in those circles. So we're about to do skills and passions quickly as we wrap up. But what goes in those circles? This is going to be our foundational piece. Now, for many of the webinars that I've done, I always think it's interesting that we do this, and then particularly depending on the length of the course, sometimes the course, if it's 6 months, I have people do it again at the end of the 6 months, and you see the difference in your thinking. Because that's part of why I'm here, to help you see something different about what's on the inside of you, to see what your gifting is and see it in a different light. Because one of the things that happens is, even when we put our finger on it, which is good, that everybody here seems to be able to put their finger on the gifting, many times we still only see it narrowly, which is why I want to get past skills and get to that bottom layer, the foundation, which is the gifting. I put some questions for you to answer there. And if you notice in that resource, there's several pages. There's other questions for you to answer to get you thinking about what you put there. Secondly, I want you to ask, forget about gifts for a second. What are your skills? Actually, I don't even want you to think about it as it relates or doesn't relate to your gifts. Just go to skills. What are your skills? What are the things that you know you've learned to do and that you're good at? That's what also makes it a skill, not just somebody showed it to you. Somebody showed me how to play the piano. It never comes, so I can't. But what are the things that you are good at? Don't think about whether you're passionate or in it, and don't think of whether you're gifted in it, because we all have things we're good at that we're not gifted in. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a secret here. That's where a lot of people get stuck. They get stuck at skills without the gifting. But that's the next thing I want you to write. What are my skills? That bubble is going to take you a lot longer, I'm sure. But write down everything that you feel like you're really good at that you could get paid to do. And then in that third circle, I want you to forget about gifts, and I want you to forget about skills, and I want you to just write down things you're passionate about. What brings you fulfillment? What are the things that you do that make you feel alive with purpose? And what we are going to do together next week is when you come back, I don't want you to cheat. I don't want you to try to relate them. I want you to have your strengths bubble. I want you to have your skills bubble. And I want you to have your passions bubble. When we come together next week, we're going to see how congruent those things are for you. Most people, the three bubbles look completely different. They're passionate about singing. They're skilled. They're doing stuff in the office, office work. And their gift is they're good at communicating with people. Got three things that have nothing to do with one another. So my goal is to help you over the next 7 weeks find that intersection, because that's where we start talking about building a business. That's our goal, to bring you to that place. What am I naturally gifted in that I've learned the skills for? I have tools, I have resources around it that's developed it, and I'm also passionate about it. That's where I want to build my business. How's that sound? Okay. So I
Sounds
see
great.
Sounds great. Okay. So we have about 20 minutes left. I want to go through some questions. What are y'all thinking? Are y'all thinking, can I get my money back? I don't know about this guy. Or, but all jokes aside, like, what are you thinking about where so far where we are?
For me, I think it's going to be a very interesting exercise. I don't think it's going to be as easy as what it sounds, and it's not something that I've actually thought about. Like you know what you're good at and what you can do and can't do, but I've actually haven't like broken it down as to what is a strength, what is a skill, and what is a passion. So it's gonna be a nice exercise to actually sit down and do.
Love it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kendall. I think from my side, and I guess this is a very lawyer thing, but it's not hard and fast. It doesn't fit in neat boxes. It's not a black and white type of course. And I think it sort of makes me a little bit uncomfortable because I'm not used to that when the focus is on you and it's not a nice tick box exercise. So I think I'm quite glad that it's out of my comfort zone. It's the only way you can learn, right?
Yep. That's what I want. I think there's enough things that teach you about what's out there. I'm here to show you what's in you.